here we are back in the studio with our executive director. Now, I do hope that you all wrote that phone number down, and we'll be calling in. Chandra pointed out, by the way, rightly so, see, and this is why she's the executive director, that today isn't Tuesday, it's Monday. I aired. So it's Monday, June 11th, 2018. Thank you for pointing that out.
Oh, absolutely, Fran.
Feel free to correct me anytime.
Well, you know, sometimes the shows are pre-taped, and I just wanted to make sure I was not off base.
Yeah, that was a good call.
Right. Sorry, no, my pleasure.
How are things going in the executive director's office these days?
They're going well. We've got a lot of things moving forward. You know, projects are, you know, getting and picking up steam. For example, the elevator.
Is that really going to happen?
It is. So we've had signage posted, you know, and they've already started to do work on it.
Have they?
Yes. So we're.
Because I mean, haven't seen evidence of it yet on this floor. You
right.
know.
So unfortunately, well, it's because it's behind the wall, but unfortunately, it may get a little loud at points because we do have to take part of that building.
Sure.
You know,
the
walls out.
And
so
that's brick, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Well, some of it has probably got some of the wood structure in it for the deck, the patio piece
of it. Oh, that's right.
But
yeah.
it is. It's a nice, strong piece of building that'll have to be removed. So with that does come noise.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also, you know, in the midst of making sure that we're continuing to work on receiving, and we have received suggestions that we'll bring to the coffee with the executive meeting. You know, on feedback from the town center. We did 3 nights. We did a road show, so in each of the community buildings, the resident design team and the executive team were there to go through the design and to talk people through. And we've had a lot of visitors coming to the administrative offices to come see the not the blueprints, but the print, you know, the floor plans to get an idea of kind of where things are. It's interesting because sometimes people come in like really, you know, I'm not happy with this, and then when you sit down and you talk them through what the components are, they leave a totally different person and like, oh, okay, I understand this now. And it's really hard to absorb all of the different changes, and you know, when you've seen it once in a large meeting, or even if you've come to the road shows, the average person, it's hard to look at all of that and absorb it. Any person, it's hard.
May I just ask a question? The fact that some of us, wanting to schedule things in rooms over, say, in this neighborhood, which is the second neighborhood, Village Square, some of the classrooms or whatever, and being, you know, ahead of time and being told that nothing can be scheduled yet until it's decided where the displacement of events in town center are going to be moved to. And how is that working? I mean,
so you've
why
been told
don't
not
the schedulers know all that yet?
Because we needed to make some more finalizations on what we call the enabling projects, meaning you know, we need to move, for example, the treasure chest will be the first move, and we have a designated spot for them. I've met with the committee that runs it. You know, the ladies and gentlemen do a fabulous job, and it's such an important part of the community to make sure that they have the space, and so they've seen the space, but we also need to go through and design it, and that would be the first move.
And has that been publicized where that's to be moved to?
They know, and we've kind of, you know, set it in a general meeting, but what we'll do is, as Lynn Keith, who is our general services director, is working on the enabling projects, we can come back and we're going to be able to put it on a floor plan so people can see, because you can say, oh, it's down this area, but it's areas that people don't usually access, and so it's not something that's highly visible. So we did meet with the resident design team to show them where the movement of specific areas would be, but we also wanted to make sure we had the right timeline. So you know, it's a matter of putting a timeline together.
I see.
But we should still continue to schedule in the current town center what needs to be scheduled, we would be giving advanced notification when we'll know, when we have a set date of when things will start to be put into place.
You'll know that enough in advance
Yes,
that
ma'am. So-
clubs or
Yes.
whatever won't be suddenly
No,
displaced.
absolutely not. So
And
we'll
say,
let
oh,
them know.
we have to move this group over here because they don't have a room over there anymore.
Right, exactly. So they'll know well
Okay.
in advance,
Okay.
and we want to make sure, because it's not easy to find, an equivalent space at the same time or same date all the time. So-
Exactly, and that's
Right,
what
so-
we've been noticing when we've tried to schedule things.
Okay. So you've been hearing that you're getting some.
We've been hearing
pushback.
that it can't be sealed in cement. We can't book, say for instance, the Green Spring Players were asking about booking the theater for next year for our plays,
Okay.
and then rehearsal times and what we can depend on. And so the theater isn't quite as tricky, but some of the rehearsal, we rehearse in other rooms when
Okay.
we can't get the theater, things like that.
So I think when would be makes sense, and I'll make a note of this, is to
Yeah.
go and have, as we go through the explanation of the enabling projects, is to give people an idea as soon
And
as we
our
get some
club
timelines.
meets, the board meets every, second Wednesday, and we've always met in the card room at Village Square.
Okay.
And we book it like a year ahead, so we know, we can tell our board members. And I think they were having difficulty sealing that in cement this time.
Okay.
And-
I was not aware that we had already made those changes.
Well,
of,
I
not-
don't think there's any changes. It's
Okay.
just that but it's that the schedulers don't want to say, yes, you can have the room. And then they'll have to disappoint us and say, I'm sorry, this takes precedence over,
Okay. So I think we need to definitely communicate.
Yeah, I'm sorry to
clarity.
take up so much time on that. Listen, you see that call-in number up there? 703-663-3333. You hardly have to move your finger.
No, you don't. You don't. And then today we will be starting our neighborhood chats with Chandra and the team. And this came out of, hearing from residents saying we have the coffee with the executive team. We have the council meeting where I get to go to and answer questions. But, kind of really being able to implement things that we're hearing in conversations I'm having with the council and residents. And this is, what I call, we heard you and we want to implement it.
Yeah, I read that whole thing. Yeah, that
Exactly.
thing
So,
about- yeah.
so today will be the first one that we'll be having in Hunter's Crossing. So the neighborhood, all the residential buildings were invited today. So that'll be from 10:30 to 11:30.
You have to dash right over there.
Yes. So I'm looking at the clock because I
You need to get a
dash.
golf cart to get.
I actually have one today.
Oh, good.
And then dash over, and this will be our first one. So we'll see how it goes, and is this the right format, or what do we need to do differently? It's very much an open forum of conversation, because we don't have a screen and all to do any kind of presentation, but just for being there to listen and see how things are going, what's going well, because I want to hear that too. I mean, we don't
Yeah.
always get to hear that.
Yes.
It's usually, I need this addressed. But I know there's so much that goes on really well, and in those one-on-one conversations, I hear that as I go down the hallway,
Yeah.
or people come to my office, or they
Right.
stop me and tell me. But where are areas that we can continue to work on to improve,
Okay.
and so we'll be talking about that, and then we will do that once a quarter in each of the clubhouses. So it'll move around. Once a month, it'll be in one of the clubhouses.
So one can expect that it will be primarily people in the third neighborhood would be at
Yes.
today's.
Yes. So that's who we put that in the cubbies.
In the
for
cubby
them
notices,
to come,
yes.
right.
I live in that neighborhood.
Yes.
And
So
I
if
got
somebody
that,
shows
yeah.
up, it's okay. But it's sort of, let's focus on this clubhouse and the residents that live there. So that's been I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it adds value.
Well, let's see.
Yes, and then that way people that don't want to come all the way to to one of the areas like Hunter's
Sure.
Crossing or Village Square, they can find their time. And our offices are always available also. So, and I tell people, come by, stop by, come say hello. We do have candy. So.
I see people go in just for the candy.
Yes, yes. Sometimes I think the candy is more interesting than I am, but So we've got that going on. Garden Ridge is coming up to being pretty close to being done in the new building. And so we were looking at, October-ish, that we may be able to start to September, end of September, October, potentially moving residents over into the new building. And those conversations are already happening with the families and the residents to say, this is the unit I want. And then we will have a company that will really do all of the moving, for tagging and putting it back where they want it, where do they want the picture. So the family and the residents are not stressed, because it's a stressful situation. Even though it's a brand new unit, probably twice the size that it is, it still does invoke stress when you have to move. And so this would be a positive. So
that sounds very encouraging.
So we're excited about that. And then we'll go back and do those units and redo them. We'll renovate them. And then people will get moved.
Oh, that's great.
Lots of construction, lots of things going on. Have we gotten any calls yet?
No, not that I know of.
No? Okay. So
yeah, we're doing all right.
All right.
Yeah. We have a
quiet
few more
morning.
We have a couple more minutes.
It's a quiet moment on a rainy day outside on a Monday.
Right. And well, when you some of the issues here, I mean, I've been here 15 years, and nothing's perfect, okay? No place is perfect. But I don't want to live anywhere else. This is a good place. So to give you some positive feedback.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And it isn't that I don't complain,
No.
but really, it really it is a nice place. I was interested in seeing from the council the letter that came. Did you sign that letter? Or did I think the council president did, requesting capital projects, because getting ready to submit budgets and that sort of thing coming up, and I was interested in seeing that letter. I always forget that they request that each year.
Yes, they do request it every year, and then we go through and we see and we submit items that we feel like we can get
which
done.
Things you can get done.
And then sometimes majority of them, even from the ones that we've gotten, get done, and some may get elongated. And then there's some that we just couldn't do. But I think the council does a really nice job of getting kind of those requests from the residents and going through there and vetting them to see, are they going to be having an impact on the entire community? Because sometimes it's a personal request versus something that's really for
used
the community
or benefiting the
right. And they
community,
do a lot of time going through them and making sure if it's a work order that it goes to the work order. If it's really something that's going to benefit the community, that they bring it to the table.
Because if it goes for a work order, it might go into the capital request for that department then.
Right, but if it's a personal thing for their apartment, it would just go into the regular work order process.
I understand that.
If it's something that's global, then it goes, because you get all different variations. You get it from, my dishwasher is not working well, and this is what I suggest, to, I think we need a different style of signage, for example. It came out of that before. So it's, as I said, it's more the personal versus the global.
Well, I'll tell you, I think there are a lot, it's like a chess game here with all of the, it's projects and all over the board and things that have to be kept track of, etc.
Yes.
Well, you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
And I'm going to tell you thank you for being here today.
I appreciate it.
Sorry we didn't get any calls, but that's their problem.